Stimulus payments continuing to go out, but some people aren't going to see their checks as soon as others. Fox 2 News investigative reporter Brendan Kirby now joining us live here in Mobile, breaking down some of the issues people are having. And even though they've received that first stimulus check in March, Brendan, this has all been pretty confusing.
Yeah, Byron, and the Internal Revenue Service hasn't been very clear about this, but it likely has to do with tax season.
Well, that made like minimum wage jobs.
West Mobile resident Brent Fuller had no problem getting a direct deposit from the U.S. Treasury after the CARES Act passed. His address and bank account haven't changed, so he figured the process would be the same after Congress passed more COVID-19 relief last month. He figured wrong.
The first payment back in 2020, it was real easy. It went basically direct deposit. This time it seems to be a little hassling because of the I was expecting the same process, but it didn't. It hasn't worked that way. But patience is a virtue with the federal government.
When Fuller checks the Get My Payment portal on the IRS website, it says status not available. Fuller's not alone, although an IRS spokeswoman couldn't tell me how many people have been affected. And she couldn't explain why people are getting this message. The agency says on its website that people who get the status not available message will have to wait until they file their tax return this year to claim the money. Tax preparer Beth Smiley, owner of EZ Tax Refunds in Mobile, says this seems to be hitting people who didn't file their tax return last year for the 2019 tax year.
We are finding that a lot of the calls that we're getting, those people did not file 2019 returns for one reason or another. And they're getting those, even though they got it in the spring, they're not getting it now because they didn't file the 2019.
Smiley said the reason likely has to do with a desire by the IRS to avoid mistakes in processing claims.
This is going to really help them reduce errors and overlapping in the sense of your check could be in the mail. You could be filing your tax return saying you hadn't gotten it, and then all of a sudden you get a check, and now you're going to owe that money back.
That means people like Fuller probably are going to have to wait weeks or months. Counting his wife and 2 children, the total comes to $2,400.
It would help with after the holiday bills.
Now, if you're in this category or you didn't get the original stimulus for some reason, you're going to have to file a tax return and make sure it includes a credit recovery form on that tax return to get your stimulus later. Reporting live, Brendan Kirby, Fox 10 News.